We are absolutely delighted to welcome you to the Pan-African Dialogue on Education, the specific summit. It's day one of our summit. We're running over 2 days. And this specific summit is one which we've co-developed with amazing partners. The partnership that is developed around this experience has been completely phenomenal. And really gratifying, because what we were wanting to do with the summit is to bridge our humanity and to create and foster connections across Africa, historically Black colleges and universities and the diaspora. And just the experience of working together has certainly allowed us to do that. I'm going to take a little bit of time to introduce the concept and the feeling behind the summit and what we are inviting all of you as participants into. And really, at a very high level, this is that we would love to ask everybody that participates in the summit to please use this as an opportunity to embrace, engage, and empower each other. We want the summit not to be a talk show where you get spoken at, but to be a space where we can really step into generative dialogue together, where our voices are seen, heard, and loved, where we can connect, and where we can create a really practical, almost physical experience of what Ubuntu feels like. Even though we are virtual, something happens when you're in spaces of care and belonging, where your body actually relaxes into this experience, and it becomes an absolute joy to be present. And so this is what we are hoping for you. Just a brief moment, I will pull the slides off so that each of the people who've been involved in creating and developing the summit have a chance to meet you. And so at a high level, there are a number of organizations that have really made it possible for the summit to happen. Obviously, Africa Voices Dialogue is the organization that myself, Andrew Wambua, and Abdulaziz Zuri are from, alongside Timosa Martin and Aileen. And I'm going to pass over to my other colleague at Global Impact Industries, who's been incredibly instrumental in developing the summit. The Pan-African Council has played a huge role, and so have a number of other entities, including the Dedan Kimathi University, Hikini University. So Adamaro, thank you so much for your support. Vicky from the Office of Historically Black Colleges and Universities, Development and International Collaboration, RHC Workforce, Christina, Michael from Ngaza Center, and Prof. Byron Price, who's not here, from Global Ties Alliance, as well as the EHBCU platform. So I'm going to stop the share for a moment and just ask Vicky if you would briefly introduce yourself and just share what is it that you are excited about for the summit, and if you could please pass on so that we try and hear from everybody that's been working together on this for the past year, but quickly.
Absolutely. I'm delighted to be here as a member of this team. Our role with OHBCUD, or the Office of HBCU Development and International Cooperation, is exactly this sort of engaging and connecting across continents. It's intergenerational, it's interdisciplinary. So finding this community and becoming a part of it has been awesome. We look forward to just sharing information, generating some new ideas and co-creating in circles around various themes. And it's a journey, and I'm going to applaud you for being here and thank you for leaning in. So if I may, if I could, I'll pass it on to, gosh, who did not speak yet from the core team?
Kimberly, I think, if possible.
Awesome.
Good
Kimberly,
morning.
yes.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm surprised about how much energy I have this morning, but it's all because of you. It really is. I am Kimberly Nelson, based here in Charlotte, North Carolina, the president of Global Impact Industries, and I'm just reflecting over the time that we have had building with this team since August of last year, and the milestones we've made with the Education for Africa Dialogic Summit. It is about bridging the Pan-Africanism and HBCU academic leadership. For me, this is a monumental step to help us synergize, harness together the African growing youth population along with our HBCU youth population, and looking at ways that we can look at the educational system becoming the engine for economic development. But this all happens with us just showing up and really bringing our why into this conversation. What matters to us and how can we help shift the paradigm and anchor this work together. And we've been doing that with several different generative dialogues. I'm not going to get into all of that right now because we're going to hear from every single one of you. And we built this framework together. This is what we do. I am an integrative interdisciplinarian. I study processes, systems. How do we solve community and ecosystem challenges? So hearing from you helps us bring this all together to drive these solutions. So thank you so much for being here, rising in the morning, the afternoon, and spending the weekend with us so that we can do this work together. So thank you. I'm going to yield if anybody, let's see, is Fabian in the room? I don't know if he's in the room yet. Who do we have? Because I have the other screen up. That's one of my key partners. I really don't know who else hasn't spoken
Andrew,
yet.
perhaps? Maybe
Oh,
let's pass to
Andrew.
Andrew.
Okay. Yeah, I'm missing. I don't have our screen, so it's like, okay. So Andrew, I'm gonna pass it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kimberly. And thank you so much, Robin, Abdulaziz, Vicky, Odobaro, Professor Mushiri, and everyone who is joining us today. When we was planning to hold this session, what came to my mind is a few years ago, that is in 2020, when we met at the International Congress for School Effectiveness and Improvement. And after the conference, I remember Dr. Robin Whitaker and Professor Abdelaziz Zori coming together and asking ourselves, ICS is over. The International Congress for School Effectiveness and Improvement is over. So what next? Then we said, okay, why can't we come up together and live up to the voices? Why can't we come together and create something, create a space which can bring together policymakers, researchers, practitioners, and communities so that they can amplify their voices? Then we decided to use the voice as our value preposition. And along the journey, we were joined by the Global Impact Industries, Pan-African Council, Kima University College, Dedan Kimathi University of Technology, and among many others. And when we look back 4 years, 5 years down the line, we are seeing the seed which was planted back then became a seedling, became a small tree, and spread its branches across the globe. And in this session, we are seeing some of our community members being drawn from Africa, from Europe, from North America, and from across the globe. And we are so much excited and looking forward. And this is what it means when we focus on building strong and thriving and sustainable communities. So it's our delight to have you all. It is because of you, in the spirit of Ubuntu, that we are communicating today, that we are engaging today, and that we are learning today. And we are so much excited. And I do believe that at the end of the day, today or tomorrow, we shall share with you more news of what is in store for next year. And just to mention, we are just from attending the G20 Social Summit from Monday to Thursday, and it was such a learning experience, and we look forward to sharing with you all. So it's a delight to see you all.
Thank you, Andrew. So perhaps Aziz, if you could quickly check in, Christina, maybe Michael, and then I just do want to give a shout out to Prof. Adamara and Prof. Muchiri as well. Let's keep it quick, just so that everybody who has been so influential in creating this space has a chance to be seen. So Aziz, if you'd like to check in and pass over to Christina.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me very well. And you know what? So happy and grateful to everyone who is here and everyone who has contributed to this summit. Allow me, my friends, to just say a few words about today. I think that it's very, very important to show gratefulness to every single human being who has been working very, very hard for a year. And allow me to just share with you that those who have been working for a year now, they have been meeting sometimes twice a week and sometimes more than twice a week. And there are many people here who have worked very, very hard on a daily basis to prepare for this summit. I just would like to raise the hat for all of you. Robin, Kimberly, Aileen, Vicky, Fabian, Andrew, and Michael Odongo, everyone. Sorry if I have forgotten any name, but it's very important to say it right at the beginning, to say that this day wouldn't have been possible without the work of all those people. And at the same time, I would like to add that this summit is the outcome of a meeting we had with Kimberly at the beginning of this year, right after EADiS, the summit of last year. And Kimberly reached out to us. It's important to tell stories like these, you know. Kimberly reached out to us and said she was excited and amazed by the summit last year, and she wanted us to co-create another summit this year. So thank you, Kimberly, for believing in us, believing in Africa Voices Dialogue, and believing in HBCU, and believing in the power of Africa. I think this summit should be seen as, you know, a step towards sharing the potential of us all Africans and everyone who believes in Africa, and everyone who has origin in Africa or who is related in any way to this continent, to this beautiful continent. But at the same time, what I would like to end up with is, let's just land in and believe in our power together, putting hand in hand, whether we are here or we're not here. Even the friends of ours or people we know who are connected to us who have not been able to attend. Just put hand in hand to create the dream for all the African children, but as well as the children of the world, so that they can live together in peace through education, because we know that without education, nothing is possible. So education is the thing that will leverage all our dreams and make them possible. So I am humbled by your presence, all of you. Thank you very much for joining us. Please keep spreading the word, because this is not just a 2-day summit, but it is an initiative to connect us all towards achieving the best and achieving the potential that we believe in, which is the potential of Africa and Africans and everyone who believes in that potential. Thank you very much. I want to pass on to Michael Odongo, everyone. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Aziz. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. I am Michael Odongo. I lead an organization. I'm representing an organization called Angaza Center. And what we do is improve economic standing of young girls and boys in rural Africa and secondary and high schools through what we describe as the transformative power of access to technology and digital literacy. I'm very excited to be here. I often say, and I think it's the general theme of this convening, that real change usually would start with starts when we honor our shared humanity. I'm sure you've had that theme over and over and over. I'm a strong believer in that. Real change starts when we exercise every encounter with a curiosity, that humanity curiosity. So EADiS excites me because it creates a space where that humanity meets technology. That's selfishly how I look at it, and where partners like Angaza Center can help make digital literacy an opportunity and a reality for our young people in rural African spaces who are in general, they're often a second thought. So I believe EADiS has created this space where educators, innovators, and community can reimagine education together, and put digital literacy that we drive as Angaza Center at the heart of opportunity for African youth. It's refreshing, really refreshing to be part of this convening. I am looking forward to a very, very rich and inspiring dialogue. Thank you so much. I look forward to rich conversations with everybody.
Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you. Briefly to Christina and
Morning. I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it's early here. So excited to be here today and to be a part of this team. Participating in this dialogue allows us to share insight and advocate for equitable learning. I'm the owner of RHC Workforce Solutions, and we provide workforce development services to a global market, specializing in skilled trades and strategic talent acquisition. And so for me, everything that I do, I'm looking through the lens of education. And so, being a part of this generative education dialogue directly shapes the future of how people learn, work, and grow. And so I'm super excited about today, participating and, working through the different strategies and being able to use our practical knowledge and have accessibility for all. So thank you so much, Robin, for putting this together, you and Kimberly. And I don't know if I'm supposed to hand it over to someone or if I'm the last one.
Well, if everybody would be marginally patient, if we could just, Prof. Adamaro, quickly hear from you. Prof. Machiri, just because the visit that we had with you, which was part of our intention around hosting EADiS physically in Nairobi, and we wound up actually, although we moved it into a virtual format, which I'm very grateful for, because I think that the accessibility becomes really much higher as soon as we are virtual. But we were so blessed to spend time with you and just feel that it has been such an incredible opportunity to get to know your campuses, your universities, and you personally through this process. And so if you wouldn't mind, again, just quick, Prof. Adamaro, if you could quickly introduce yourself, pass to Prof. Machiri, and then if we forgot, well, we haven't forgotten anybody, but then I think we will move into our body of content.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. This is Odomaro Mbanjizi based in Nairobi, and we are working with the Kenya University College, of course, to set up a new program that will focus on innovation and social entrepreneurship. After our great conviction that the only way to make a difference in the continent is to impart skills of innovation and ethical leadership across the East African region and beyond. I'm very happy to be part of these dialogues, and particularly the methodology we use of inviting people in a space to co-create, share together, I was happily surprised that I these conferences where you present papers and and PowerPoints, but they had the conversation begin with what we are. And I recall the African saying of Ubuntu that I am because we are, and since we are, therefore I am. So we are here precisely to be, and what we do comes from who we are. I'm happy to be part of this conversation and dialogue. Thank you.
Fantastic. And Peter.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Robin, and thanks a lot for this opportunity. I'm very happy to participate in this dialogue, and very grateful for the visit you had at my university, Dedan Kimathi University of Technology in Kenya, which is named after a great freedom fighter, Dedan Kimathi, who believed in self-actualization and facing the challenges of the day with the resources that he had. And it's the spirit that we carry up today, that from where we are and with what we have, we can create change and make a difference in what we are able to do and what we are doing. So it's a very good opportunity to discuss this. I'm right now speaking from Pretoria, South Africa, very close to Robin. Maybe after this talk, maybe I should come for a cup of tea in at Johannesburg. But the discussion is basically the same. How can we create value in Africa? How can we do manufacturing systems development? How can we empower Africa, and how can we believe in ourselves so that we can make a change and make a difference? So that's a very good discussion, and I look forward to making a contribution to this discussion. Thanks a lot, and thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. So yes, next time, please, Peter, come for just one extra day so that we're not crammed in with two busynesses with our meetings, and you can come and visit, and thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll just head into a little bit of an overview of the next 2 days, and then onwards into our first dialogue, which will be taking place in just under half an hour. Really, really awesome dialogue. But what we do want to do is just invite every person that's joined us today, just to have a sense of who's in the room with you, what this dialogue is about, what our intention is in creating EADiS, and really how we hope to share the space with you and how we hope to experience our time together with you. And so just a couple of housekeeping, not rules, housekeeping invitations. This summit is not about rules. It's actually about choices, and the choices to be fully present to each other. And so we really invite you, as we look to make the most of this time together, that in being here, whether you are here for the full 2 days, which we really hope many people are, but we also understand it's the end of the year and it's quite a crazy time. But for whatever period you are here, to just allow yourself to be fully present. So bring your voice, bring your feelings, bring your thoughts, bring your experiences, bring your humanity, and just allow yourself to relax and soften into the space, and to share from the depth of yourself. Bring all of your perspective, but let's not be in this space with a need to present ourselves through the lens only of our work. Let's bring what we care about most and share it here. And in alignment with that as others are in this space with us, we offer them exquisite attention. We listen respectively, attentively, kindly to others, not to correct them, not to add to their thoughts, not to persuade them otherwise, but really to listen to their lived experience and to allow it to resonate within ourselves, so that we can notice what is the thing between us that matters, and what activates and energizes us. We invite you also to be open to learning, so to embrace different perspectives. We have such diversity in this space, incredible diversity, geographic, lived experiences, so much diversity that if we really open ourselves to that, celebrate difference, and use the space to look for insights, it's going to offer us profound learning. And then just a small suggestion around tech etiquette, and this is really to save the back end team. If we can just keep microphones muted unless you are talking, so that we don't have background noise coming into the space. And if it is possible and your bandwidth allows it, please do keep your videos on. And specifically, if you are in a small group and your bandwidth does allow it, just to pop your video on, because our goal is to create an experience of humanized and humanizing engagement. And because it's virtual, the additional kind of ability to connect visually really helps to be able to learn and know and understand others. We are recording the summit. It really is for the purpose only of being able to share this at a later point on our YouTube channel, so that anybody who wasn't able to be here physically but would like to connect with the spirit of the summit can do so. And so if you have any challenge with that, please just send me a direct message on the chat, and we'll just take note of that and try to edit out anything that you choose. And I just wanted to give us a sense of who has RSVP'd and who is likely to be joining us over the 2 days. It has been, again, absolutely incredible. So in our 2024 summit, we had also more than 200 participants over the course of the EADiS related events this past year. We again have reached to more than 500 participants. And this summit itself, this summit itself, we have 200 plus participants that have registered from more than 24 countries. About 70% of those are from the African continent, about 22% are from the diaspora region or else, and another 8% from elsewhere in the world. And there is not only diversity in terms of geography and context, but there is massive diversity in terms of perspective. So people coming from government policy spaces, people coming from tertiary education institutions, research institutions, civil society activists, community organizations, learners, educators. There is just such a wealth of perspective in the room, and that offers us, again, this remarkable opportunity to connect with others' lived experience and to make the space to build community through which energy, resources, thinking can start to flow. Just our speakers are unbelievably diverse. So we have, over the 2 days, we have more than 60 speakers participating with us. They are discussants, so they are not coming to present to you. They are coming to offer a particular lived perspective, and they have just such remarkable lived perspectives. And so just to run through the posters, these are the individuals that you can expect to meet and see over the next 2 days. We will suffer from severe FOMO, all of us, because some of our sessions are in breakaway slots, and so we won't necessarily be able to listen into every single person. But our hope is that the space builds towards the opportunity at some point to be able to meet physically and to really cement these connections and engage with one another further. And so super briefly, our real hope here is that this experience offers us, if we look for any kind of outcome from it, what we are really hoping for is that the outcomes will be relational, and will be related to our capacity to have had vibrant, exciting, engaged discussion between leaders, community activists, leaders wherever they sit, of very different spaces, but all of whom care about Africa, the African diaspora, and how these communities thrive and the potential for them to thrive together. We would love to have an opportunity to offer deepening insight into the historical relationship between the African diaspora and the continent, and historically Black colleges and university, the roles that these have played in the continent. And more importantly, even than that, we would really like to have an opportunity to dream and think together about what might be possible from the ongoing connections, what is emerging, what is happening in this moment in time when the African narrative is alive, when it is vibrant, and where we are really seeing huge movement to connect across the diaspora and the continent, not because the diaspora is afraid of the African youth demographic, but because the diaspora feels connected to, loves, and invested in the success of the African continent, and to create a reciprocity around that, where in the African continent we too see our diaspora family, all 200 million of them, the 6th region of the African Union, as a part of our family, and we welcome them home. And so if the space offers us this opportunity to explore these closer alliances and to really foster a global network of co-creation across the continent and the diaspora, that would give us joy. More than that, though, what is even more important to us is that what we really want to have experienced at the summit is the reason for having the summit. So while we may have some outcomes, that'll be wonderful. What we really want to have is we want to have a foundational experience of being together that offers us insight into what it feels like to be in a space where you are truly heard, seen, loved, where your voice matters, where community is able to be built through relationship. And so our hope is through these 2 days and this experience that each of us can have an experience of care and connection and a deep practical sense of generative dialogue in action. Our goal, and we hope that you will be able at the end of this time that you are with us to say this is what it felt like, is that every person who's participated in a large or a small way leaves the summit feeling that they have been seen, heard, and loved, that their voice has been welcomed and respected. And so we invite each of you to help to co-create that experience with us. And we really would like for every session, whether it is a smaller breakaway session, whether it is this space where we are together in the main space, to have a sense of alignment and coherence about that experience, no matter what the specifics of the conversation are, that the feeling when we are together is what binds us. And I'm going to just quickly share a little bit around what we mean by generative dialogue. Generative dialogue is one of the closest feelings to being loved that we can have as human beings, to be in a space where we know that it is safe enough to share ourselves and that we are both offering and receiving exquisite attention. It is remarkably rare, very sadly, in most of our collective interactions. And we really want to offer an opportunity here to challenge the assumption that we cannot be in deep relationship virtually. We cannot be in deep relationship when there are many of us together, and we cannot create the opportunity to practice this way of being with each other if we don't actually know each other beforehand. And so generative dialogue is an opportunity to make the choice to let ourselves step past the way of attention that is downloading. We tell others, we instruct others, we are very certain about what we have and what needs to be done, and we project that outwards with great certainty. It allows us to drop out of that and to drop past even debate, where we are trying to persuade others because we want to see something better for them, or we want to confirm our perspective. We try to persuade others through argument or through a lot of clever research, and even to drop past the experience of dialogue, which is what many of us would construe as dialogue, which is where we really have an insight and an understanding that other people's lived experiences are related to ours, that our worlds do interact, that we can have empathy and compassion for others in other spaces, that we could learn from each other, that we might even be able to grow or adopt some of the experiences that come out of other spaces. Generative dialogue allows us to step past even that. And what generative dialogue does allow us to do is to step into an experience where we listen past our particular perspective, where we drop into collective flow together, when our capacity to share with each other vulnerably and listen to each other vulnerably is grown, so that we start to not only notice the other's perspective, but to feel how it resonates within us, and to offer ourselves with a real willingness to show what matters to us, what we feel, what we think, what we are noticing, what our perspective is, and to offer that in such a way that it can resonate off others, and we then can listen in for what resonates off them, and what are we noticing about ourselves and about each other that allows us to sense what it is that is between us, that is more than either of our perspectives. What are the things that are held in common? Where is the emergent opportunity? What is the new thing that is being born and that the system is asking to be born, that we would never have known but for being in generative dialogue with one another? And so this way of being really asks, and this is the invitation, that as we step into this place together, that we commit to paying attention to each other with an open mind, an open heart, an open will, that we notice our own needs and we care for ourselves, and we don't project discomfort onto others. We really do the work of holding it in ourselves and listening with openness to others. And that means also that we commit to, as we are in conversation with each other, which I am not practicing now, speaking for so long, this opportunity to have equality of thought, an equality of experiential understanding, that we recognize each other's experiences as being valid and equal and meaningful, that we offer each other equality of voice. Your voice matters, no matter where you are from or how important you may seem to be, that every voice has wisdom within it and has perspective, and we offer each other equality of time. So we are conscious of how much time we take in our small group sessions, in our dialogic sessions, and we are gracious and graceful with each other. We will use, just so that people are aware, our Africa Voices dialogue format, which is to hold large spaces. So our discussants are stepping into our collective space in order to spark thought, offer a model of the vulnerability of sharing lived experience, resonate off each other, and create the first note of resonances into the room. And out of that note, we would really love for everybody who's sitting in the room to take notice of what evokes in you and what is the thing that is bringing to life in you, and then to step into spaces where we can share that. So we will have open space sharing where people can share their thoughts, what's resonated for them. We'll also, particularly in this session, have opportunities to go into smaller breakaways where every person's voice is heard, and there's an opportunity to name and articulate what's landing in you. And this really is to ensure that we create the space for every person to be seen, heard, and loved. Our process is really asking for curiosity as the starting ground. Curiosity, compassion, and courage, that we're stepping in open, questioning, wanting to know and understand, wanting to see each other, and that we focus first and foremost on the people that we are with. So really foregrounding people and their perspective. And we hold that in a process that allows us to keep that focus. And through this process and through this focus on the people we are with, we sense and feel and let the potential that is present emerge. And what we are really hoping for is to step into an experience of Ubuntu in action. not the philosophy of Ubuntu, the feeling of it, the practice of it, and the experience of it. And so with that, I'll just super quickly run us through, for those who were going to attend just a little bit, just what you might be missing. So we've now done our sort of opening ceremony, which is just to land us. We're going to step now into our first dialogue, which is got phenomenal speakers, discussants. We'll introduce them to you shortly. The dialogue is a dialogue on bridging our humanity and really seeing if we can sense from multiple different perspectives what our discussants feel is moving and awakening and happening in Africa and the diaspora. After a short break, we'll come back. We'll go into 2 parallel community building sessions, or 2 parallel discovery sessions that cover the broad themes that we really want to touch on in our summit, which is really looking at youth voice. What are the voices of youth sharing? What are the opportunities they see, the challenges, the hope, the possibilities, to listen in for that. And then the other is to listen into the space of what is emerging and evolving in areas of learning and working in diaspora and continental communities. And after that, we'll have an opportunity to just come back and reflect together on what we've heard, felt, sensed, and seen, and to sense make as a collective. So tomorrow we will also start with an opening session just to reconnect, to reflect on what happened today. And we will then move into 8 parallel community building sessions with the most wonderful topics, also held by the most remarkable people. So we will have topics covering generative research, entrepreneurship and opportunity, workplace and workforce development, technological advancement and access, governance and institutional capabilities, education, culture and identity, sustainable development and equity. And each one of those conversations should be completely incredible. Because we are going to suffer from severe FOMO, we will have an opportunity after those conversations to come back and to listen for what happened, to listen for where the weave is, what is lying in common. And really, this is an opportunity to consciously help us de-silo out of different topics that classically kind of get singular focus, to allow us to bring them and weave them together and gain insight into how they are intimately intertwined. And they are all examples of our need to step back into our humanity. And then finally, we will look for what are the opportunities to continue with, what is sparking for people, and whether this is at a personal level, something that lands for you that you will take back. That's amazing. Or whether it is something that feels like it emerges out of our collective space. That too is amazing. Our goal is to not quote Steve Biko's words, but to step into living them, and to take this opportunity and this moment in time when so much about our being human together is being challenged, to offer a more human face, not as a instruction, but as an experience. So with that, Kimberly, if I may ask you, if you could just take a moment to welcome in all of our discussants for our first dialogue. We have 5 minutes, and so perhaps let me stop share for just a moment before we are going to step into the actual dialogue, and just ask, is there anything that anybody wants to comment on, ask, any thoughts that are in the room before we set off into our main dialogue? And also, let's take 5 minutes to do that. So if you need to run to the bathroom, to get a coffee, to grab a water, use this opportunity. Any thoughts, anything that anybody wants to comment or share on before we introduce our awesome set of speakers? Please just pop your hands up, And the other thing, just to be comfortable with, we are very comfortable with the moments of silence, because silences are often indications that people are thinking. And so just to be comfortable with that. Yeah, and if anybody wants to offer a word or drop a thought into the room, please pop your hand up and we will just hear from a couple of voices. Vicky.
Greetings again. You know, this is personal, but also organizational on behalf of the Office of HBCU Development and International Cooperation, which has just entered our second decade. So we're celebrating our 10th anniversary. I did want to make note of the convergence of some of the international work, which is also a part of our focus. This is the second decade for people of African descent, advocated by voices just like this, you know, everyday people, civil society, in addition to our other formal roles. The insistence on claiming our humanity, you know, I just want to echo some of the quick things that I've heard in this beautiful opening ceremony with so many voices coming into the room already. And while our focus is historically Black colleges and universities, we also always, you know, note that including other PBIs, predominantly Black institutions, and that means around the world, globally, just very conscious right now of where I sit in the U.S., where the traditional, you know, if you will, land grant universities, the original historically Black colleges and universities, or HBCUs, are seated as we speak. Entire universities, careers are literally being dismantled and just canceled. So the work that we are doing here today resists that, it transforms it, and we claim, you know, co-creating the future that we all deserve. So I just am so grateful for you all for this, what you may not think of as a courageous and necessary work, but it is. Peace and blessings. Looking forward to everything in the next couple of days and beyond.
Thank you, Vicky. Rashid.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so I am in motion, but it's very good to be here. I'm Dr. Ibrahim Yunus Rashid, and my area of specialization is actually servant leadership, and I call it Ubuntu grounded servant leadership in education. So it's very good to be part of this conversation. And just to let you know that you have managed to bring in 4 very subtle, very essential, very important aspects. The Ubuntu aspect, the education aspect, the diaspora, but also the Pan-Africanism. So I'm sure that this summit will really be able to bring about very good, very creative innovation. And the co-creation of these ideas is what I'm excited for. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Mutjaba, so the other Rashid, Mutjaba, and then Mabato.
Thank you so much, Robin and the group. Very good evening to you people. Rashid Mutiaba, humbled, and I'm the director of Curry Junior School. I appreciate the time you've given in to have this summit. For us, it is very important for us to have this wonderful session. Mine is just an appreciation, and I think, thank you so much. I'm ready to listen from our discussants. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Rashid. And Mabato.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here, and the opening remarks from everyone have been very encouraging. As a person who has been initiated into the Ubungoma traditions of African spirituality and understanding the metaphysical component of Ubuntu and how often Ubuntu is spoken about as a philosophy and not as a practice, it has become very disheartening. And so I'm excited to hear that there is a longing to practice Ubuntu, which is really a heart-centered way of being. And I also just loved the quote of Steve Biko that you had up, because I do believe that it is time for Africa and Africans to rise and to demonstrate to the world our capability of being human and understanding our relationship with the earth. Yeah, I'm really just excited to be here and to sense into ways in which my work can intersect with the work that everybody is doing in helping us to remember the core of who we are as humanity. Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. We can all go home. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Christina, and then we will step into our first dialogue.
Wonderful. I'm so excited because, you know, especially in today's geopolitical space, generative dialogue matters profoundly for the African diaspora because it is one of the few tools powerful enough to bridge history, culture, and geography. And it's also an opportunity to rebuild connection across global displacement. You know, the African diaspora spans continents because of forced migration, colonization, of course, involuntary movement. But this generative dialogue creates a shared space, just like you said, Robin, a shared space of storytelling. It's a platform for us to get to know each other, to hear different perspectives. It's a safe space, and it's an opportunity for us to connect with people who may not share the same language, country, or cultural nuances. So I think it helps rebuild a sense of belonging that historical displacement, I would say, tried to erase. And so I'm super excited about this dialogue today. Back to you, Robin.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Salundo, I will pass to you quickly, and just to say, as we progress through these 2 days, there's something around also naming and articulating what is moving and growing. This, for me, is the world of reinflating the interior, our personal interiors and our collective interiors, stepping back into the places from which our energy is derived, and naming it and showing it as being important, Christina, is so important for us to do, not just to experience, but actually to create a larger resonance out into the world and say this matters. It matters to be in care and belonging. It matters to operate from love-based principles, and it can be done, and it's necessary now. And so whatever you're hearing that sparks and lands for you, please feel free to just pop it into the chat, because that becomes an opportunity for us to collate all of our perspectives and create something that we can show.
Maybe that was the challenge. So thank you so much. I'm Lundo Alundo from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I live in Kenya, in Kakuma refugee camp. For now, I'm in Nairobi because I was attending in October another meeting about the refugees and migrant education in our common home in Rome. So I'm still in Nairobi as I'm trying to plan to go back to Kakuma. I'm so happy to be part of this meeting, and I got the link through the Angaza Center LinkedIn posts, and I was so interested also to participate in the event and contribute, based on my refugees experience. I'm so happy, and I hope it will be a very nice event. Thank you so much.